Alrighty. Yeah, so a little update here on this video vlog, spiritual vlog. Woo, man, it is, I don't know, life can be a challenge, you know? Not really anything like in the circumstances of my life that's very challenging, really. Everything's okay, but just energetic wise, man. You know, it's a struggle sometimes with just low energy. You know, just feeling like tired and sluggish for no reason. I don't know what it is. I've researched, you know, I went to the doctor actually, and the last time I was there just a month ago, to get everything checked up. I had, I went to the doctor previously to get the depression medications. I tried two different types of depression medications, Paxil and what was the other one? Citalopram, right? And I gave each one of those a month. It didn't help at all. Maybe even more tired, man. I was so tired I had absolutely no energy to do anything much. So I stopped with those things. I did them for maybe a month. I tried each one for about a month. I stopped that. And then the last time I went back, I got the blood test. We checked a blood test to see, like, you know, if there's any vitamin deficiencies. I don't know, vitamin B12, a whole bunch of different stuff. He pretty much checked across the board every information you can get from the blood. And what was another one? Your hormones, testosterone. That's an important one. If you're low on testosterone, that can definitely make you feel tired. But he said everything was normal. My testosterone was normal, vitamin levels were normal, my cholesterol was normal. Everything, there wasn't anything. Only the blood pressure is a little bit borderline. That's the only issue that I have. But otherwise, you know, everything seemed fine health wise. So there's no like medical explanation. I have not discovered any obvious medical reason for this, you know, feeling tired all the time. You know, they say it can be your whatever, you know, if maybe your colon is clogged. I've done colon cleanses, I've done cleanses and stuff like that. I eat pretty healthy. So I don't know, man. For years I've been trying different stuff, trying different herbs and teas and supplements and powders and exercise routines and meditation, different types of, you know, self-hypnosis and self-meditation, tapping, meridian tapping, spirituality and meditation and mantras and chanting and prayers. It's not that, you know, that I think all these things are like, you know, just, you know, a waste of time. I think that everything has probably helped, you know, some, but I haven't made a breakthrough. But I did have a period at the beginning of the year when there was supposed to be this like some kind of planetary thing. What was going on with Jupiter? Some kind of alignment with the planets, which was supposed to be pretty extraordinary. And there was all this talk, all these different spiritual channels, everybody talking about, oh, it's going to be. I think a lot of it was exaggeration. It was another one of those, you know, 2000 Y2K deals, or one of those, what was the other one? Back in 2012, there was the so-called end of the Mayan calendar, and all these, you know, like New Age and spiritualists, they always hype it up, and they talk all kinds of, like, it's going to be like some amazing thing is going to happen. I mean, that stuff just doesn't. You still have all these, that's another topic anyhow. All these channels, though, I watch some of them just for entertainment, but a lot of these channels are such a bunch of hype. They're always talking about that the UFOs are going to come, and this is like the Great Awakening, and everyone's going to be like, and all the negative energy, all the evil in the world is going to be eliminated. It's such a bunch of wishful thinking and hype, it seems. So this planetary alignment, what was it? What do they call it? The great transition or something like that. Something with Jupiter. I forget what it was now, because it was like it came and it went, and it was like. But actually, I did at the beginning of the year for about a month or so. I was feeling like I had a time where I did actually have more energy. I was getting up early, like 3 o'clock every morning, man. I was maybe sleeping by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and getting up at like 3 o'clock, and I had energy all throughout the day, and I was feeling excited, and I thought I had finally made a breakthrough where I was gonna, like stay full of energy and excited and get a lot of stuff done. And I started actually starting to work on a lot of the things that I wanted to accomplish, a lot of the projects that I was working on, my websites and YouTube channel, and working on my music and gardening and excellence. It's a whole bunch of stuff. So I started doing all this stuff, but then I went back to, after a few weeks or a month, I went back to, again, I'm feeling now tired and sluggish, man. I had to take a nap, like, I don't know, sometimes I have to take a nap during the day for 15, 20 minutes or something, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but after I take a nap, you wake up and you feel like really, I don't wake up feeling like refreshed and ready to just jump back into action. I feel like I wake up and I feel like sometimes you feel like a zombie, like you feel out of it. And, it's not that I'm like down and uninspired. I'm still like, I don't know, I felt kind of agitated though. I felt sometimes I'm a little more aware, I think, of how I feel and how I need to be like a little more just conscious and a little more conscientious of, trying to deal with and trying to, be on top of this condition. But I don't know, I've been a little kind of like agitated about, like, I don't know, just things, just little things have been like kind of disturbing, agitating, bothering my mind, just feeling a little like just unsettled and agitated for not really any apparent reason. It's just, I guess it's just the mind, the condition of the mind. Who knows? Whatever your karma and the planets, whatever, who knows? Just the environment. And like I say, it's not like my life is like there's all these challenging situations and conditions, like I'm having to deal with a lot of stress or anything like that. It's not really like that. It's just that this mind is, I don't know what it is. I have it seems like I got a bunch of baggage that I got to somehow clear out, and have been dealing with this for years and years. And I just sometimes feel so damn tired, and I feel agitated. I feel kind of bothered. Like I can't really deal with people much, like people just rub me the wrong way, or I rub people the wrong way, and it just doesn't harmonize. And then combined with the sex desire thing, that's another kind of that's a bit of a challenge. Dealing with depression and the level of low energy, somewhat. I wouldn't say like real depression, because it's like I feel decent enough. It's not like I'm all down and out or anything. I just feel like more like low energy and kind of like a bit agitated, and not feel like dealing with people or anything really. But then with the sexual desire thing too, the challenge is that I'm like a 50-50. 50 part of me wants to be like spiritual, and according to all what I've learned in spirituality, that sex is the thing that keeps us basically in the material world. It's the sex attachment to sex desire that keeps us in the material. At least that's what's taught in the line of Krishna consciousness, in the teachings of Krishna consciousness, in the Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Gita, and in the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is, in Hinduism, there's like all these different interpretations, but I came along with the teachings of Krishna consciousness, which is not exactly it's not the same exactly as Hinduism, and it's the one that makes the most sense to me out of anything. I mean, I've studied a lot of different spiritual teachings and religious things, and this is the one that makes the most sense to me for the most part. I think it has the most wide explanation and answers of life. It explains, like, it's got like a whole bunch of information about how karma works, how we come into this material world, why we're here, and reincarnation, and our personal God as a personality. There's like all this stuff that you wouldn't find in any other spiritual teaching or any other religion. I feel like it's a lot more complete. For me, the teachings appear to be a lot more full and complete, and provide pretty much just a full explanation of everything that's going on. So it makes sense to me from these teachings that sex is the thing that makes the world go around. Sex is the thing that drives, is the main impetus of material life, It starts with sex desire, and attraction between male and female. And then by sex, people become attached to one another. And then by that attachment, they accumulate other attachments, attachment to family and friends and home and community and prestige and position and recognition, all these things that we accumulate in this material existence. So it's all supposed to start from sex. And the teachings are that if one becomes like a renunciant, one is able to detach themselves from sex life, then that's how they become spiritually, that's how they make spiritual progress, is becoming more attached, like transferring our attachment to sex life to attachment for God consciousness, our relationship with God. So supposedly the more one is attached to sex, the more that we are, we're preparing ourselves for another material life. And we're going to take another, material body. It's attachment to sex, attachment to basically the vagina is like the doorway, is like the entrance into the material world, basically, literally. Because the soul is supposed to be there in the semen. There are living entities, consciousness you can see in the spermatozoids. There's all these little entities, they're like little fish swimming, and the soul is supposed to actually enter into comes out through the semen and enters into the womb through the vagina, and then it develops a material body inside of the womb. So somehow that's we come back to this material. We give up this body when we die, and then we may spend some time in the astral dimensions. In the afterlife, we may have like a vacation time in a heavenly place, or maybe a not so heavenly place, maybe more like a hellish place. Either way, it depends on our circumstances, our consciousness. And then eventually we may come back into take another material form, and we come back into another womb to prepare if we're going to take a human form. Supposedly the soul can take different forms too, can go into a different life form on a different planet, or go into an animal species. It's supposed to be all these different varieties of life. So according to our karma, we're supposed to come back. We may come back to the material world and get a suitable material body according to our desires and according to our karma. And so that's how the world goes round and round. The cycle of the repetition of birth and death and old age and disease is supposed to be a cycle. We're caught in this material cycle, and the material world is like all these different cycles. The cycles of time, the cycles of the seasons, the cycles of the sun, the cycle of day and night, the cycle of the time, the clock. There's so many things that are, operate and function in cycles in this material existence. And so birth, death, old age, and disease is called the cycle of samsara. We go round and round, and then the zodiac is another one of the cycles. Supposedly, we cycle through all the different symbols of the zodiac as we in our succession of material births. And through so many lifetimes, we pass through lives of all the different zodiacs, and we have all kinds of different experiences. So for me, it makes a heck of a lot of sense. It's based on ancient science, like the astrology, the science of Vedic astrology. It's a very mathematical science. It talks about karma, it talks about reincarnation, the species of life, all the different spheres of existence, the different planetary systems, the creation and destruction of the material world. The whole material world is another cycle. It's created and annihilated again and again. The material universes. It's supposed to be multiple unlimited universes. So these material universes are created and annihilated again and again. So back to the sex, the teaching is that we are attracted to sex life is like the height of material enjoyment, and it's like basically what everything else follows. It starts with sex, and then everything else is, we come into this material body through sex, and then we perpetuate our attachments through sexual attachments and sexual relationships, sexual engagement. So the teachings of Krishna consciousness is to return to the spiritual world. We have to really desire it more than anything. Like, we have to desire it more than sex. And sex is such it's ingrained, it's like programmed deep into our DNA, into this material body and mind. It's like the body and mind is just hankers for sex. Some people are born sexless, they don't have any sex desire. It's very uncommon, I think, but Most of us human beings were born with sex desire from an early age. We start the sex desires start awakening at puberty at a pretty early age. So, yeah, I'm about to conclude this. So I'm gonna have to pick up in the next one. But sex desires is such a hard thing to get over, and it's been a challenge. For me, and I'll pick it up in the next. Continue in the next video. The rest of my story. So thanks for tuning in, and be eternally inspired.